The old expression, "if it ain't broke, don't fix it," is widely assumed to reflect a deeply entrenched Yankee sensibility that can also be associated with frugality and resistance to change. Just don't tell that to Marsden Brewer, a lobster fisherman in Stonington, Maine, who has introduced a method of scallop farming adopted from his counterparts on the other side of the world.
And how'd you learn it?
By going to Japan.
Really? So they sent you to Japan?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there was a group that went over to Amori with a trade relationship. It's a relationship that survived 2 world wars and everything. And it started when an American ship ran aground over in Amori during a storm. And they lost a bunch of American sailors off it. Some of the local people got lost too, trying to help save the Americans. And it was after that they had a thing where they'd go back and forth between Amori to Bath, Maine with swimming competitions for years.
Really?
And then it morphed into more than that, with students. There's some students that go to Amori and there's a reciprocal thing there. They showed us, what the Japanese were doing with scallop culture and stuff and how they were set up. And it was really attractive because it was a lot of family operations. It was,
And like you're doing it with your son, so family operation.
Yeah.
After learning firsthand about the Japanese method of raising scallops, Marsden and his son Bob began employing the same aquaculture techniques in Maine waters. The results speak for themselves.
So while we call it lobster industry, there's 4,500 small businesses, and the Japanese do the same thing with scallop culture. These we grow them out in, but the way the operation works is we start out by catching the larvae. We'll spend the better part of a year in the spat bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll set them, leave them down on the edge of the current for probably 10, 12 weeks. And then we'll bring them up inside and put them and winter them over. And then the next summer we'll take them out of the bags and start spreading them out.
Okay, and so how big are they when you take them out of the spat bags?
Oh, big ones as big as a nickel. Yeah, my grandfather was a lobsterman, my father was a lobsterman, and just naturally followed suit. What we're doing now is looking at aquaculture real hard, and in particular growing scallops. Seems to be going real good.
That's right. Yep.
How far out?
How many other fishermen in Stonington are doing the scallop farming?
We're the first.
The very first?
Yeah.
And are other people interested in doing it now because it's been successful?
They're starting to pay attention. It's in the beginning. Well, it's this whole project. Like with me at 63 years old, it's not about me. It's about the next generations. With all the wild fisheries that are going by the wayside, they've all been stressed, and we've got to find sustainable ways of doing things. And this is both regenerative and restorative to the environment. It's just all positive impact out of this. So it's worth it to pave the way for the rest of it. The big difference is with growing shellfish is that you're not just taking the wild stuff, you're taking larvae out of the water column and growing it up and selling it. And in that process, it's reproducing, making more scallops, so you don't have the environmental degradation. And with dragging it does clear three-dimensional life off the bottom, restorative to the environment. They feed on phytoplankton in the water column, plankton, and they basically make the ocean cleaner and a better place. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Although the Brewers can be considered scallop industry innovators in Maine, they still harvest lobsters in the traditional manner, by setting pots along the bottom. So far, no one has come up with a more efficient way of extracting the famous crustaceans from the ocean. You know what they say, if it ain't broke.
What we're looking for is, these are fairly big.
Yeah.
Okay, the forward flipper, that means it's a male.
Okay.
A female would have a real fine. Leroy probably showed you that yesterday. So that's how we measure them from the back of the eye back. It's got to be bigger than that.
So that just made it.
Yeah, that's probably a pound and 8 lobster.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get them and it goes out over this backside, you know, because they get quite big, then you throw it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then you save that for brood stock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's got to meet a lot of requirements.
Yeah, and that's part of what's made it a successful fishery.
Sure. Yeah, and it can't have any berries on it, any eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the V notch too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna put.
So that one's a
put him
keeper.
right there. Get through the rest of this stuff. Another male. I went through this all day. The lobster fishery is probably one of the best managed fisheries in Maine, and probably beyond that too. It's sustainable in that we watch out for our brood stock. Cedars, we throw them back, we V them so that they can reproduce again. We take them about 1.75 inches on the back of their shell. Is the only time of their life that we can take them. So, you know, we get just a small crack at them. Working with my son has been great. A lot of the older people that have moved to the island, settled to the island, they're wicked jealous because their sons are off someplace else, another part of the world. And you know, you take a week's vacation, you go down and see them, but you know, just having your son working with you, it don't get any better than that. It's a good way of life, good community, good people.
Thank you for watching. For more exclusive video content, including short films, episodes, and features, be sure to click the subscribe button and look for us on social media at Explorer New England Films.